edition of the Houston Texans Roundtable. I got some great content creators for you up here. One of them, Houston Stressins. You see him on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You see him everywhere. He is your latest for daily Houston Texans content. Then I got my boy AD from the H-Town Rundown. And AD, what you have been doing on Tuesday nights has become must-watch TV for Houston Texans fans. Guys, AD, they break down film and they do the entire game, and they have multiple people on the panel. It's a fantastic job. How you doing, boys?
Doing great, man. I mean, it's tough. That was a tough loss, but I mean, it's always funny, like the difference between moments walking out of the stadium, that feeling, as opposed to a couple of nights sleep. It usually stings a little bit less. So I'm doing good.
No, I'm not gonna lie, it still hurts. I was awake late up at night thinking, how do you score 0 points in the second half? And before we get into all that, AD, I'll start with you. We have heard that the Houston Texans players have had meetings without the coaches. Now, it sounds like there has been 3 player only meetings. Now, we all know that is never a good sign. Pat McAfee was on his show talking to JJ Watt, and JJ Watt was kind of hiding his emotions, didn't want to say what he really wanted to say about the players only meeting. But I don't think it was a good sign, man. What do you think, AD?
It was a come to Jesus meeting. I mean, they something they need to have.
Hey, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, baby.
you gotta make waves, and I think it was held by 3 different players, if I'm not mistaken, as well. If I think one was by Mixon, I think CJ had one as well. And I forgot who the third person was, but there were 3 different meetings by 3 different players. Yeah, I mean, it's an issue. It's a problem, but some things are needed. So you gotta do what you gotta do, man, and try to turn the ship around, because you got 4 losses this year, and 3 of them were last second winnable type games.
For sure.
Well, not the Jets game. Let me say 2 of them were last second winnable type games. The Jets game was a winnable game too. We just came in unprepared. So definitely this team should be 9-1 right now. So and with that being said, you gotta find a way to figure it out. You gotta I don't want to call it easy stretch, but you gotta stretch the games right now that you can come out on the other side before that bye week, or after the bye week, before you get into that stretch with the Ravens and Chiefs. You can be sitting at 10-4. So you gotta do what you gotta do to make waves and improve.
Yeah, I think this all falls on, just the Houston Texans. They themselves can only turn this around. Stressins, when you hear that the Houston Texans players have had 3 meetings, me personally, I don't think it's a good sign. I'm just going to be straight up with you. If you're having meetings without coaches and, you're at this point of the season, I don't feel like it's a good sign. However, it's still very early, right? It's not like we're having these towards the start of the playoffs. So maybe I still have a little bit of hope there, but players only meeting in my mind, guys, it's not good. Stresses.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the optimist and the silver lining, on this topic. It's definitely not good. I mean, if you have that many player meetings or any player meetings, that indicates something's bad. But, big picture, we're 6-4. So what it tells me is this team has expectations. They have the same expectations that we have. So that tells me these dudes care. Like if they weren't having player meetings with what's going on, then I would definitely be concerned. But so I like that. I mean, obviously it sucks that we're at this point, but I would much rather have these struggles now and then get it out of the way, and assuming that we right the ship the rest of the way and have gone through adversity. So a lot of great teams go through adversity, and then just overall, like as a message for fans in general, I mean, we were all caught up. I've been the biggest victim of it this offseason, a crazy offseason, great year last year, all these new signings. We have all these high expectations and aspirations. Like we still need to realize, like, you just don't become a contender overnight. Like we can still be there by the end of the year, but like it takes time. D'Amico, I know some people don't like it, but he had a clip that I posted I thought was pretty cool. He said, which is
Yeah, I did
the
see
case in
that.
my
I didn't like
opinion.
it.
But I mean, there is truth to that though. Like,
There
you
is.
know, we think we should be better than we are. Like, yes, we're having our struggles, but like that doesn't mean we still can't be where we want to be, and it's part of the process. So I mean, obviously, it's not the best thing, but I'm glad that these players care. Is what I like.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm glad they care too. And then our captain Aziz Al Shayer, he talked about it and said when he was on the Niners, right, he was in a similar situation where they were 3-6 and they ended up making the NFC Championship. So he's definitely seen worse situations. He still has 100% confidence in this Houston Texans team. Real quick, AD, where's your confidence at in this Houston
Um,
Texans team?
my confidence is shaking.
Ooh,
Because I have, like I said before, my expectations are super high. Super
mine was
Bowl or
AFC
bust.
Championship or bust.
Mine was Super Bowl or bust. So,
Ooh.
um, and going back real quick before I finish, the players sound like they're not just happy to be here. So I just want to say that people that listen to the spaces and listen to the H-Town Rundown know what that means. I'm
What
gonna
do you
keep
mean?
going.
What do you mean? No, 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 no,
Hold
no.
on.
Stay on that. Stay on that. You can't
We
just say something like so.
so
The
what
some Houston. Oh, go ahead.
so the Houston Texans fans have this, I call it defeatist attitude,
Mm-hmm.
meaning, yeah, we just got an ass beat, but hey guys, we're still 6-4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just happy to be 6-4 because 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we were the one of the worst franchises in the league. I'm a I hate that mindset. I'm sorry if I
I
offend
do too.
anybody, but this team doesn't. I say it damn near every time we're on the episode. I say it, this team doesn't make the moves and do the things that they did the last 2 years to be happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Just be happy to be 6-4. Just be happy to win 10 games again. Just be happy to make the playoffs. Just be happy to win one playoff game. No, we need to be happy when the confetti is flying and it's that deep steel blue, Liberty white, and battle red confetti flying in New Orleans. That's when you be happy. That's when you're excited, you're ecstatic. Not just I wouldn't go that far. Hey, I'm telling you, I'm different, and that's where my mindset is. And I call it a defeatist mindset when you're just happy to settle for less.
Oh, so I thought you were talking about players who were unhappy, to be
Oh
here
no
in the
no
league.
no no
So
no no no.
that mindset, 100%. Me and Harley are on your notion, right? I am not satisfied with being 6-4. I'm not going to be satisfied if we beat, the rest of the three teams and then the Titans at the very end, because you probably can without needing to score a touchdown in the second half. And
Mhm.
whatever the hell happens against Miami, Kansas City, and Baltimore, no, dude, I am not happy right now because my expectations where you got to go to places where you've never gone before, and one of them is an AFC championship. And right now, I don't feel like this offense can get you there. Harley, welcome. Are you happy with the 6-4 record? Now we've seen this tweet in many places, right? I think one of them was DJ Bieniemy, and Harley pointed it out on Bleacher Report. Should we be satisfied with where the Houston Texans are right now? Because just 2 years ago, we were,
Mhm.
only 7 wins in 3 years, 2 years.
No, no, man. I'm not satisfied, man. Look,
Thank
I
you.
know it's the same record as last year at this time, but last year it was all we didn't even know what we were doing last year. We were barely learning how to crawl and walk. And the reason why it's so different this year is because the moves you made this offseason. It threw yourself. You're trying to throw yourself into the upper echelon of the AFC, the top teams in the AFC and the NFL, and you throwing yourself into the contention. Like you want to be up in there contending with the best of the best, and that's why you went out and got a Joe Mixon and a Stephon Diggs, and obviously you're trying to upgrade and help the team too. But I mean, you're getting guys that are Pro Bowlers, like you're getting guys that are legit ball players to come into your team, and you're trying to push yourself into the Chiefs, the Lions, the the Bills, and I know we beat the Bills, but the second half wasn't pretty for the Bills. You escaped with that win. You kind of got lucky that you won that game, if we're being quite honest. 6-4 is cool. That's a cool win-loss record, but that's for last year's team. That's for last year's people. This year, man, I'm not happy with 6-4. Yeah, we're gonna win the division, all that good jazz. That don't mean jack squat for me. Like, I'm tired of winning divisions. I'm tired of just, and I know this sounds so, people are, oh man, you got to win the division in order to get into the playoffs. Man, I'm sorry. I always look at Tennessee Titans. I always look at the Tennessee Titans, and they went to the AFC Championship game without winning the damn division. Do you think they gave a damn about winning the division? No, you don't give a shit about the division. You go into playoffs, you're trying to make noise. It's a whole new ball game. But unfortunately for this team, we have a problem in the offensive line, OC, whatever it is. We know we got a problem that needs to be fixed, and it just doesn't feel like it's going to get fixed. And I hate to be pessimistic. It just doesn't. These 3 straight games, they're not going to do nothing for me. So what? You beat the Cowboys. So what? You beat the Jags and the Titans. So what? So what? You could be 9-4 after these 3 games. So what? Go out there and beat the Ravens. Go beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Then I can start, okay, I see what this team's doing now. Maybe we're back onto the, okay, this team could contend with the top dogs in the AFC. But as of right now, nah.
If it go undefeated and be 13-4 to end the season.
If they do that, woo.
Then let's have a players only meeting every single week going forward. But after this game, you hear a lot of people say same old Houston Texans. And when you see a tweet like that says, hey, we're 6-4, exactly what we were last year. We have an easy schedule. We are going to win the division no matter what. I've seen that story before. That has been the Houston Texans playoffs. Take advantage of weak teams, of your weak schedule, get a home playoff win, and then get your ass bounced in the divisional round. I've seen it before. So I am not happy with this, man. And now we can head into whatever the hell happened on Sunday Night Football. I first want to ask you, Stressins, how did you feel about the Houston Texans playing with our balls, tickling Nico Collins in front of us, only for them to just say, no, he's not going to play?
Well, first, I'll kind of like touch on what y'all had addressed. I mean, I agree. I think we all agree, like, none of us are happy, but like, I would say, like, the argument people are making, like, as far as us being fine, like, we can still be in position. Like, it's very frustrating because we had that game and that basically teetered from us having a bye and not. So now it's like almost impossible to have a bye. So that's where the frustration is. My expectations are the same as you, Ruben, like AFC Championship or bust. I want to see us take that next level. I still think it's attainable, even though right now in the moment it does not feel like it. And I think that worst case, we finish the rest of the season with 2 losses max. I think we win 1 of 2 of the Kansas City-Baltimore game. I think we win the Baltimore game at home. I think Baltimore isn't as good as people think. I think their defense is terrible. Their run defense is like the best in the league, but their pass defense is the worst in the league. So I know at the moment you say that, people will say, well, our offense sucks. I'm optimistic it will start to get better, especially with Nico back. So I think we finish 6-1, have a legit shot at that number 2 seed. I had posted something today about remaining strength of schedules. Like, ours is like bottom 5, and then like most of the teams ahead of us are all top 5, top 10. So yes, I'm frustrated, but I'm still optimistic in the future. But like, as y'all all mentioned, I mean, we won't really fully be content until we see the final result and make sure none of us want to do the same old crap where it's a Saturday evening playoff win and then exit the divisional round. We all want to win that divisional round and make that next step at the very least. So we're all on the same page there. But yeah, as far as the Lions game, I mean, in the moment, like I've been a Bobby Slowick defender this whole time up until I would say the Green Bay game. And then after that is when I really started like, okay, like, all right, now I'm going to start like being critical of him. And so like me as an optimistic guy, like whenever I finally jump on someone for, messing up, then it's like bad. So, but I will say, like, in the moment, I did let like the sense of like the 5 interceptions, like, because like I was just there, and I think some of y'all were there too, like just the highs and the lows, and like how good you were feeling, and then all of a sudden this comes crashing down. Like you couldn't help but just be like, we got 5 picks and we still lost. Like I was like, man, I was like, something needs to shake. Like I don't really think that Bobby should be fired. It's kind of tough the position we're in just because the alternative scenarios. Um, but something needs to shake. I mean, they got to get things working quick. But I will say, like I mentioned earlier, I've had a couple more sleeps. The loss does sting a lot less since then. You know, you look back at the surface, you say, "Oh, 5 picks, you should win." But you look at the picks. One's a Hail Mary. One's basically a punt. You know, they threw it down to the 20-yard line, and one was very unfortunate. Kamari Lassiter gets called down the 1-yard line. I still don't really understand I understand what they're saying, but I don't agree with it.
Vegas.
Three of the 5 picks weren't really beneficial to us at all. And the 2 that we did get, one we scored a touchdown, one we got a field goal. So, and then you factor in that we threw 2 picks ourselves. So, you know, that was what I was focusing on. I dissected into it. It's not as bad. So I'm walking away. If you would have told me before the game, hey, Lions at home, they're the second best or best team in the league, and you lose on a last-second field goal by inches, I would be happy. So if you consider that, obviously the way we lost sucks. It's not as bad as what it was, is what I'm trying to say.
No, man, it's just the way you lost after you put up the points you did in the first half, and you're thinking this is the Houston Texan offense that we've been waiting to see, and then the second half happened, Harley, and the Houston Texans, they scored 0 points. They allow the Detroit Lion offense to come all the way back and kick the game-winning field goal. In both those field goals, oh my God, inches, centimeters, however the hell it got in, dude, crazy. But your thoughts on this second half offense, Harley, because it's been the same story all year. The Houston Texans are currently averaging 8 points in quarters 3 and 4. In the past 4 weeks in a row, the Texans have failed to put up a scoring touchdown drive. Harley, what is going on with the second half offense?
Oh man, I wish I had an answer. And I mean, hell, if I had the answer, I would throw it. I would be calling the Texans right now.
You
I
ain't
have
got the
no,
answer, Sway. You ain't got
yeah, yeah. I mean, I, I, I ain't got nothing, man. It's ridiculous. And what's so upsetting is we all knew it. Like I tweeted it out. Like, hey, man, it's 23-7.
Hmm.
Make sure y'all put y'all's damn foot on the gas pedal. Please don't let up. I tweeted it out, and literally the game's over, and I go, well, that didn't end well, you know. And it's just upsetting, man. I don't know. It's just whether it's a lack of Bobby Slowick's adjustments in the second half, even though the defense doesn't change nothing in the second half, and you know, it's all about execution.
Crazy.
That was a wild quote. That was a okay, D'Amico, David Coley Ryans. And you know, so that was just like what kind of quote is this? Yeah, no, man. I wish I understood it. I wish I did. I wish I had an answer. I don't get it. I really don't. You know, yeah, I'd love to see Nico Collins back, and yeah, that's gonna, you know, kind of put the lipstick on a pig and it's gonna make it look pretty. But man, this has been a thing since the beginning of the season. I mean, I was there at the Bears game, and it's just the Bears offense was so horrible and so inadequate that they couldn't do jack squat. But the
Yeah.
Texans let the Bears continue to have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity because the offense could not move the ball down the field. The crowd wasn't even into the game anymore because the offense sucked. Like the whole third quarter of that game, I remember the crowd was dead. It's tough.
Not the Lions crowd.
Exactly. And you know, the Bears, they start doing their chants and start doing their thing. And I already knew because when I start seeing the false start and y'all, well, Lions fans think that they did it themselves. And I'm like, oh my goodness. You know, I don't get it, man. Houston sports fans, I love y'all. I love my Houston sports fans. But damn, we pretty bad in terms of supporting our team in the stadiums.
It's because they haven't seen that dominant win yet, Harley. They
Bro,
haven't been convinced yet, bro.
let me say this. It has something to do with the money too.
It is true.
Well,
That is true.
people like the tickets. I'm gonna say this in my section, but right before the game, tickets were going for $600, $700 a ticket.
cashing
Yeah, I'm
out.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, if I could pay, half my rent, Imma do it.
Well, if you're
So,
a season
and
ticket
then I
holder, you pay for half of your bill in a couple games.
look, I can only imagine what the Christmas. I'm almost like, should I pass on a Christmas Day game? Because if it's 600 for a regular season Sunday night game, Christmas Day is probably going to be stupid.
Mm.
So, um, yeah, I think
But
that's a big part of it. But go ahead.
also, too, Houston's like a melting pot too. I mean, like we're one of the biggest cities in the nation, but we got people from all over too. So I mean, who knows how many people? Like my brother-in-law's from Detroit area. He went to the game with me. He's a Lions fan. So that's just one small example. I mean,
Took the
it's a lot of factors, but yeah, and
shoot.
hardly. I was chirping them all game too, and yeah, that was
Hey,
rough.
And Imma say this, I don't need no Detroit Lions fan, teaching me how to be a fan, right? Because you've been in poverty for longer than all of us have been alive. So don't try to tell me how to be
For
a
real.
fan.
They could
But
be doing that silly ass dance all they freaking want at the
man,
stadium. Man, y'all weren't doing that dance for the last 35, 40, 50, 60 years. Y'all been cursed franchise, man.
Well,
Y'all
that's
didn't even
part
do
of it
shit with
hold on.
too.
Barry Sanders.
And they have the worst chant I've ever heard in my life.
what
What
is their
is it?
chant?
Their chant is Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
That's it?
Jared
We
Goff.
need a chant,
Baseball
man.
That's
champ?
it.
I mean, Swarm's
And
okay,
what's
but the way they do it, it doesn't get me excited.
yeah, what's crazy is every time, like, cause I'm on the visitor side, so I was just surrounded by Detroit fans. Every time they would start that chant, it was hilarious. They would start it, and Jared Goff would throw an interception. I was like,
I would
That
just be
guy is
looking back at
"Yeah,
him
look
like, you
at
see what you're
Jared
doing?
Goff."
Like, you see what you're doing to your quarterback? I mean, I guess we can stay on this topic and we can all give an answer. AD, when we see that this offense has been a struggle all year and we see that no changes has been made, I think there's only one person that we can look at and that's D'Amico Ryans. And we've heard some wishy-washy things, recently, right? It started all the way back when they asked him, could people be changed? He said yes, 100%. Everything's, available, everything's open to conversation. And then a few days later, that's not what we hear from D'Amico Ryans. He says, man, something's been bad. Then he's like, no, people have bad plays. Everyone has bad plays. Let's focus on the positive. It seems like, kind of that D'Amico is not really having the, what am I trying to say, AD? Like, it seems like he's playing buddy buddy with Bobby Slowick. Like, this is his boy, and I don't want to get him in trouble, and I don't want to, throw him under the bus. And it seems like that's something that D'Amico Ryans is willing to do, for his coaches, for his players. Like, he rides for his guys, and I don't want this to be, a negative thing about D'Amico Ryans.
I mean, it can be. Nobody's above criticism, especially D'Amico Ryans. He's loyal, too loyal. He's loyal to a fault. Um, Nobody's gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Kenyon Green was a starter for 7 games because of D'Amico Ryans. Um, we look at Bobby Slowick is still the OC. Bobby Slowick hasn't been relieved of his play calling duties because of D'Amico Ryans. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can sit up here and address it and take it head on and say we're going to make changes, but obviously you're just lying through your teeth because you come out in the second half of each of these games and it's the same story. I mean, I think we scored over double digits twice this season in 10 games. The first week one, we scored 17 points, and then against the Patriots, we scored 24 points. That is the total. And honestly, if you add those two up, I think that's more than what we scored the rest of the 8 games
Mm.
in the second half. So it's definitely disappointing. It's definitely a problem that you're not making adjustments in the second half. You can see D'Amico's defense make adjustments. You can
Okay.
see that.
Mm.
You can see that, but
Whoa.
you don't see that the offense make adjustments at all. It's the same old story, and then you look confused and befuddled. Like, why are we like this? So, yeah, Bobby Slowick is an issue. CJ Stroud's play this last game was an issue. But could it be that he's just, I don't want to say deteriorating, but he's
Mm.
regressing due to Bobby Slowick not being more innovative, doing things differently. Um, I mean, he reversed back to the tight formations. The whole second half. The first half, he looks like, oh, he's trying something new, different formations, spreading it out, everything like that. Then you come in the second half and it's back to the same old, oh, let's go tight formation.
It's an
The rest
adjustment, dude.
and
The opposite
About
of
execution.
so it's like, man, and I think Bobby is relying on CJ Stroud to save him. And that is a problem.
Huge
Secondly, even Joe
problem.
Mixon said it after the game. Like, we're playing, what is it? We're not playing to win.
not to lose.
We're playing not to lose. And that is a horrible way, especially in those type of games. Like, how can you go in the playoffs and say, "Oh, I'm playing not to lose"?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
And Stressens hardly brings this up. D'Amico Ryans was with Gary Kubiak for a good chunk of his career, and Gary Kubiak was as conservative as they come. Is this something that D'Amico Ryans picked up from Coobs? And kind of the same thing. Like, do you see this as kind of a knock on D'Amico Ryans? Because I feel like the honeymoon has to come, be over at a certain point. And when we see a long leash for Bobby Slowick, a long leash for Kenyon Green, like AD said, you get kind of frustrated because nobody trumps number 7, in my opinion. And when you see him regressing, when you see him throwing his helmet down on the sideline against Green Bay, you get worried because this is your franchise. And, I just feel like we're putting CJ at risk and just waiting for this offense to get better, which is contradicting to what D'Amico Ryans told the rookies. We're not waiting for you.
Yes, D'Amico is definitely a conservative coach. I don't know that he got it from Kubiak, but I would say a lot of coaches in general in the NFL are conservative. I don't know why, especially when up like with the lead at half, they all just try and kill the clock. It drives me crazy. But I've been saying this about D'Amico for a while, and that like Bobby gets a lot of the blame, and he should. But like as far as like the conservativeness, I think it's a top-down approach. This is the issue of having a defensive-minded head coach. I mean, we have an elite defense. We have a Super Bowl caliber defense, and if you're D'Amico Ryans and you know that, you can. He's shown us every week he leans on his defense. Like he refuses to allow us to try and win the game with our offense. Case in point, against the Lions, we choose to kick a 58-yard field goal with roughly 2 minutes left and not go for it. Or even if you're going to try and do that, just freaking punt it. But like, I mean, the thing is, go for it. You get the same result, and if you get it, you basically win the game. You kick the field goal, they can still tie or win. So that's a defensive-minded head coach. He's thinking, oh, 1, Kaime's going to make it. 2, if he doesn't, my defense will get him 3 and out. And then he showed the same sentiment when he called a timeout right off the bat. Like he thought he would get a 3 and out. I'm like, and it's something he's done all last year and throughout this year, and it's worked for him more often than not. We've won a lot of these close games. And I mean, look at the Bills game. We were conservative, bad play calls, ended up punting, and the game gets handed to us. And he's come out on top on these tight games, playing this conservative style more often than not. But like this is my biggest gripe and our biggest gripe. I thought for sure, last year I thought we were a young team. We all know how we play with our food. We dominate almost every game we're in, but either lose or find a way to make it come down to the last seconds. So I thought for sure this year we would take that next step and get that killer instinct and put opponents away. And same thing with the Lions. Like we have yet to like learn to establish that gene. And I think it starts from D'Amico, from that defensive-minded approach of just be conservative, don't ruin the game. We'll just win it with defense,
So
But
even,
I'm not guarding Slowick either in his play call.
yeah.
I'm just saying like that's an overall theme
Well,
of the team.
even still, you're talking about D'Amico being conservative. He was conservative in his play calling at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like look at it.
Blitz all game, and then you run zone on the last play.
On the last play that basically
we're in cover 3, right? It was Amon Ra
Yeah.
Brown, and like basically no one covering Amon Ra. So then he runs at Aziz and then runs away, and he's wide open.
So
you blitz all game, and you don't blitz in the biggest down of the game.
And my thing is, I could see if it was like a 3rd and 2, you want to play, you want to kind of beat it. But I'm like, it literally was 3rd and 6. You've been in that situation the whole game. Jared Goff, first of all, you've been beating the tackles, both tackles ass the whole game. Daniil Hunter was wearing Panay Sewell out.
Yeah.
And you've been pressuring, all game long, and then you wait until the last play. I call it the last play of the game because after that they just run, kick, field goal, win the game. So you like, why would you do that? That makes just like zero sense. You playing it too conservative. Like he didn't try to win the game on either side of the ball. You didn't try to win the game. You didn't make the executive order and say no, we're gonna go for it. I don't give a damn what you say, Frank Ross. I know we believe in Kaimi. F it, we going for it. I'm trying to win the game. And if we lose, I can say I put it all out on the field and we went balls guns blazing, dropped my nuts down, and we did what we did. But again, on the defensive side of the ball at the end of the game, you again just nutted up and was like, "Nah, I'm gonna just try to play it safe." And you gave them the game.
And so, like, they could argue, oh, that's because we had the injury to Kamari Lassiter, which was knocked out by his own
F
teammate.
that.
But even then, like, you still can't justify that. Like, bro, like, okay, let them beat you on the other one. Like, the pressure's been getting there. Like, it definitely affects golf. I mean, live by the blitz and die by the blitz, you know?
Harley, I think being conservative definitely cost you this game against Detroit. It definitely cost you the game against the Green Bay Packers. I mean, if this Texans team would have won at least one of these two games, we would have felt entirely different about this team. But how do you feel about this conservative nature, man? Because it just doesn't scream swarm on the offensive side of the ball. And that's kind of been the story all year. We swarm on the defensive side of the ball, but we're swarming on the offense, man. I don't understand it.
Hey, hold on, real quick.
Go
Someone in the
ahead.
chat looks like Derek Carr. That's kind of messed up, bro. You see that shit?
Yeah, it's
Sports news.
They don't really
I don't see it.
Derek Carr, he's got like eyeliner and shit. What are you talking about? Anyway,
you're like
sorry.
a Peyton Manning.
I'll take a Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I got a big old forehead. I'll take that.
Oh.
There you go. All right now.
The first step is acceptance,
Man, I forgot the damn question.
Just be,
conservative play calling, whatever.
Yeah,
something like that. Look, if D'Amico Ryans cares only about the defense, which it's pretty prevalent that he only cares about the defense, then get yourself a badass OC. Like that's basically the biggest answer. And Bobby Slowick is not a badass OC. It's tough to say that he's not Gary Kubiak because he also worked with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is also known for conservative play calling at the end of games, let teams come back into games, where Kyle Shanahan also worked with Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak was a guy that always let his buddies have coordinator jobs and assistant coach jobs. I look at Rick Dennison, someone that was here for 3 years with the Houston Texans, where fans were just crying like, hey, we need a new offensive coordinator. We need a new offensive coordinator. We need Gary Kubiak to take over the play calling. And finally, Gary Kubiak decided in 2013, yeah, you know what? I'll take over the play calling. It was annoying back then. It's annoying right now. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having conservative play callers. I'm tired of having conservative head coaches ish. It's annoying, man. It's the same thing every week. It's frustrating. It's a definition of insanity. Like the Houston Texans continue to run the football over and over again when they are just super inefficient at running the football on early downs. Why do we do that? Oh, CJ Stroud's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. You did that a lot last year. Yeah, his heroics helped you out a lot. And it's helped you a little bit this year too, but you can't bank on CJ Stroud putting the S on his chest every single week and expect the same thing over and over and over again. Like sooner or later, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, man, that's just a difficult third down. I would love to have CJ Stroud's life easier. Unfortunately, that's just not been the case this year.
Yeah,
I'm worried about the coordinators. Like D'Amico comes from the San Francisco system, where this defense gets a Shanahan coordinator. So like I think we need a whole new scheme, but I don't know if he's willing to do that. Like this is the way that he knows how to play. That's
so we had a chance to get Cliff Kingsbury along on this staff.
It's true.
It's all
Um,
good, man. My crackhead's gonna get fired, and we're gonna pick him up.
so let me say this about the about the conservative nature. D'Amico's conservative in all facets, not just coaching. The fact that we talked about it when we opened the show, Nico Collins
Mm.
was 100% ready to play. Oh, let's be conservative and sit him out a game.
Don't get me
We've
started
seen
on
it with the injuries this whole season that guys are ready to play. D'Amico even said it in an interview with the 610
Yeah.
Mark Vandermeer and what's
John
his
Harris.
name, John Harris.
John Harris, yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I take caution and I sit guys out, as long as possible, give them extra weeks or whatever, so that the injury doesn't reoccur. But Nico Collins plays that game. It's a totally different game.
Yeah.
It is.
Easily.
You win that game easily. And I don't want to hear none of that. I know it's fans talking about, well, it's an NFC game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, man.
That's BS
That's
because
national perception too. We go from like a top 5 team, now we're like 13th, 15th ranked
yeah,
team.
right.
Yeah. Now we're
We're middle of the
contenders.
pack. Yeah, we're middle of the pack. Nobody's taking us serious. We're in all intents and purposes, we're fraudulent franchise right now. Um, Especially with the high expectations from the national media, from ourselves as fans. Um, I get what Larry's saying. Some of the play calls can work in certain situations, but you got, I mean, his time. I don't want to. What is it? Game management or
Mm.
play calling, like sequences and
Mm.
everything. Like it's just trash. No, he has no flow. Bobby, I know Bobby Sloyd can't dance. He has no rhythm. Like, like you
I
can't.
knew that already. Yeah, I
So
ain't trying to pull
you
no
you
card here.
can
But come on now.
you can't tell me otherwise. Like Bobby Sloyd is just one of those uncoordinated, never knows, offbeat all the time. So just he coaches like it's just irritating, man. I'm frustrated
And
because
even then, he doesn't run like the full Shanahan scheme. Like he's not running boots and all that
No.
stuff. Like he's got his own like watered down version of it too. So
Man, we need to take him clubbing. Like we need to show him a good time. We need to change how Bobby Slowick views life, and maybe that could get him a boost. Maybe it doesn't,
you
man.
need to take
Maybe
him
it,
to the hood, like Malibu.
we, we're gonna drop him off in Fifth Ward. We're gonna
yeah, I
drop him off in
tested
Fifth Ward.
positive for GAME.
But ladies and gentlemen, real quick before we go, I'm going to give these gentlemen an opportunity to drop where they have all their latest work. We want to thank all you guys who were with us. 535 people in the chat, guys. Make sure you like the stream. That's how you help us the most. AD, where can the people find you and all your latest work?
You can find me at the H Town Rundown on all platforms. Join us on Tuesday nights for the All 22.
Mm.
Tuesdays and Fridays when we go live, but especially on Tuesday nights as well. So stream on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and check us out on our website, the htownrundown.org.
Harley, the handsome man, where they can find you and all your latest work.
You can find me at the lead _HOU anywhere on social media, especially on YouTube. Got a few announcements real quick. Tomorrow I'll have Matt Sims, former quarterback. He's going to be on my YouTube channel. Matt Sims was with Kyle Shanahan from the Atlanta Falcons from 2015 to 2017. I'll be at practice squad, but I'll see what he's got about the Shanahan scheme. And he's always talking about he really loves the Texans from what me and Ruben had him last year.
Shout
We
out to my
believe in
boy,
Texans.
Matt.
Second announcement. If anybody's into Apollo Media, on Monday I'll be with Apollo Media reacting to the Texans and Cowboys game on their YouTube channel. So I'll be there with them for at least a half, and then I'll go home because then I have to do Bleacher Report. But yeah, if anybody's into Apollo Media, they're going to be live, and I'll be reacting with them with the Texans and Cowboys. And that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all.
Stress is where they can find you and all your latest work.
Yeah, Texans commenter on X and TikTok and YouTube, and then Houston Stressens on Instagram. I got my website, houstonstressens.com. If y'all could subscribe to the free newsletter, I'm trying to get that rolling, and then check out the merch. I got the Will Anderson shirt on this week. It's the if you ain't with Houston, fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
what better week would it be to have a bounce back game against a lowly Dallas team to get our hopes back up? I mean, if we go into Dallas and come out with a 20+ point victory, I mean, we'll be feeling pretty good.
and plus, fuck Dallas, man. I've been hating Dallas ever before I was in my daddy's balls, man. Like I hate the
the team or not, whether they're bad or not. Like
I hate the Rangers.
Still good. Exactly.
I hate Tony Romo. I hate Mark Cuban.
Last thing I want
just what the doctor ordered, man.
Last thing I want to hear is a Cowboys fan that had a freaking trash ass season come back and say, "Well, at least we beat you guys. Y'all couldn't beat us."
I already know what's gonna happen.
You might as well pack it up if they lose to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, dude. Like all hell is in the
season's almost packed up for me. I feel like we're kicking the proverbial field goal for the season, but I'm still have some hope left.
They're terrible at home. They've lost pretty much every game by 20.
Yeah, they haven't won at home.
The Ravens, which was like
I want to hear this shit.
I don't want to hear that, man, because
there is no excuse not to drop 30+ on their ass.
It is what it is. We got to handle business. There's no excuses.
All right.